you clicked on this video, I'm assuming that you don't know where to get started in Magic. You may not even know what a double lift is or how to shuffle the deck. If so, this video is for you. This video is for complete beginners, so if you're at least intermediate or you started learning a few sleights, this is probably not the video for you. But however, if you have no idea what you're doing, you just want to get started, stick around for this whole video. Recently, my younger brothers have taken an interest in learning Magic, so I've been trying to teach them the basic sleights, basic things like shuffling the deck, because they don't even know how to shuffle the deck. They're still trying to learn it. So by this experience, I've learned that I'm probably not actually making great videos for people that have no idea where to start, how to actually get people from absolute beginner to somewhat intermediate magician level. So this is why I'm making this video. It's gonna have a few sleights, a few things that you need to learn before anything else to get started in Magic. So let's get straight into it right now. Some of the sleights that I'm gonna get into today are going to include simply how to shuffle the deck, simply just the riffle shuffle, the overhand shuffle. I won't go into the Pharaoh shuffle, that's more of an advanced sleight, intermediate sleight, whatever you want to call it. I'm just gonna get into the basic things today. So overhand shuffle, riffle shuffle, I'm gonna get into the basic grips, such as dealer's grip or mechanic's grip, or straddle grip, different grips that you will need to do different things. I'm gonna teach you such things as pinky breaks, thumb breaks, and I'll probably teach you the double lift, what it is, a few ways of doing it, and I'll give you another few terms that you can use to go search those up and learn more about these kind of things. This isn't going to be a complete beginner 101 complete guide of every possible thing you need to learn. It's just going to be a few things that you need to learn to get started. And like I said, I'll give you a few terms or things that you should go look up or keep pursuing and practicing so that you can get a lot better, quicker, and faster than someone who didn't have a resource like this. Now, the first thing obviously that you need to do is just go get a simple deck of cards, okay? That's all you need. I would not recommend getting a nice fancy deck. Just get a classic bicycle deck. For instance, these are just blue-backed regular bicycle cards. It does not matter what kind of color or whatever. Just, I would stay away from nicer cards in the beginning, at least, while you're learning tricks. All right, guys, so the first thing I want to teach you guys is how to just hold the deck. Because if you don't know how to hold the deck, there's no reason to learn anything else. So there are 3 types of grips, in my opinion. Obviously, there's a lot more, but for the most basic things that you need to learn, these are the 3 I'm going to teach you. So first off, we have mechanic's grip or dealer's grip. All it looks like is this. You want the deck to be in your hand like this. If you're right-handed, it's going to be in your left hand. If you're left-handed, it's going to be in your right hand. Now you're going to hold it like this, have 3 fingers on the side, index finger on the top, and thumb along the side, just like this. It's important to keep it low in your hand, not have it up high like this, but keep it low in your hand. Now, that's the first grip. The second grip is what I like to call triple threat grip. Now, this isn't the actual name of it. I don't know what the actual name of it. It might be called biddle grip, I think. But basically, it's just your other hand. It's where it's gonna be. So it's gonna be like this. You're gonna have 3 fingers on the top, on the front like this, thumb holding the back, and index finger right here. It's gonna look like this. You should be able to just hold the deck freely with it. A lot of times you'll actually be holding the deck like this, both hands on it, just like this. Now, triple threat is gonna be useful for a lot of tricks. So it's gonna get good. It's gonna be good for you to get really comfortable with using it. So the last and final grip is called straddle grip. So basically it's the same as mechanic's grip, except you're gonna take your pinky and put it along the back, just like this. That's the only difference. You keep the deck in the same spot in your hand. Obviously you'd be able to move it around like this then, if it is like that. But like I said, same as mechanic's grip, you just put your thumb or your pinky on the back of the deck. And that's really it for the grips. Obviously, I'm not teaching you any sleights with them. I'm just teaching you what they are. So that's it. Let's get straight into shuffles. For this is going to be as follows. So you're going to hold the deck in your other hand, and you're going to use your hand that you're going to actually be holding the deck with. So you're going to take your thumb and middle finger, put it near the top like this on each side. Take your index finger on the top like this, and then your other fingers can just sit on the side or even not even be on the deck. I usually just keep my ring finger on here, keep my pinky off the deck. Now what you're going to do is simply use your other hand to pull off cards like this, and you're just going to go back, pull off, go back, pull off, go back, pull off, go back, pull off. You're not squaring up the cards or anything, you're simply just pulling off, pulling off, pulling off, pulling off, pulling off, and so on until you get the whole deck. Now, once you can get faster at this, you're not actually going to pull off like this every single time. You're actually going to kind of drop the cards from your hand. So once you get good enough at it, you can actually just drop cards like this, and then you're pretty much just catching it with your thumb. So you're not actually pulling them off, you're just catching it with your thumb. And this is, like I said, start off pulling it so that you get the motion down, and then start working your way up to where you can do this. And obviously I'm not doing it well right now, but you get the idea. Once you get fast at it, you can do this, and soon you'll be pretty good at shuffling this way. Now that's the basic overhand shuffle. What I'm gonna do for the riffle shuffle is teach you a pretty basic way of doing it. Obviously, if you know how to riffle shuffle, skip through this, but if you don't, obviously you're gonna stick around. So basically, you wanna split the deck in about half. Doesn't have to be perfect, but try the best that you can. Obviously, if it's really off, it's gonna not work well. So split half the deck. You can simply just open it like this, or a lot of people will actually riffle, not like that. They'll actually just riffle like half the deck, split it off, and go into their shuffle. Now, I just split it off like this, but you can do whatever you want. Now you're actually gonna hold both packets in triple threat grip or biddle grip, whatever you wanna call it, just like I said before in the grip section. So basically hold it like this. Now what you're gonna do is actually put them super evenly right together. Your thumb should almost be touching because otherwise they won't interlace. If they're too far, they won't interlace, obviously. So just get them pretty close together, and then you're just gonna riffle with your thumb. So you're gonna just bend your thumb like this and simply just riffle off cards until they go into each other, just like this. Now you're gonna wanna push them together so that they're about here. Obviously, if you wanna go ahead and just push all the cards together, you can do that, but I would recommend learning how to bridge. So once you riffle the cards together like this, what you're gonna wanna do is put them together so that they're about an inch intertwined like this. Now what you do here is put your thumbs on the very top, right in the middle. You wanna just hold them there. Don't move your hand. Now what you're gonna do is bend the cards like this. So it's almost like a bridge, okay? It looks like a bridge, that's what it's called. So you bend the cards like this, keep your thumb right there, and now what makes it release is when you let go of your bottom fingers. So once you let go of your bottom fingers, keep everything else the same, they should all just bridge together, and it'll be pretty easy to just square it up right after that, as opposed to just pushing them together. So, and it'll make you look way professional, so definitely learn how to do that. Again, if you wanna learn a super in-depth way, or have a super in-depth video on how to just riffle shuffle, I'm sure there's plenty on YouTube, so just go ahead and look those up. Again, you might wanna look up Pharaoh Shuffle if you wanna learn that too. I'm not going to teach that, but if you wanna learn that, go ahead. I know there's videos on that, so go ahead and learn that as well. Now let's get into just how to spread the cards. All right guys, so this is how you spread the cards. So you're gonna just take it in straddle grip. Again, same thing as mechanics grip, just pinky on the back. Hold it like this, and you're gonna take your other hand, hold it flat like this, and simply come over so that the deck is hitting this middle spot where the thumb and fingers meet, just right in here. You're gonna hit the deck like this, and then you're simply gonna use your thumb right here on the hand that's holding the deck to just push off cards until you get a nice spread like this. Obviously this is gonna take a lot of practice, but if you can practice it enough, it'll look pretty clean. So you're gonna wanna make sure that you hit this corner of the hand so that you can get as much cards, so you can hold as many cards as you possibly can, because if you only grab like this, you will not be able to spread very far, as opposed to grabbing a lot more. So make sure that you do that, it's very important. But other than that, the spread is pretty simple. It's just gonna take some practice. Now, how to spread cards on the table like so is honestly probably much easier than spreading in your hand, when you're just starting. So you're gonna wanna take it in triple threat grip or straddle grip, or biddle grip, I mean, and just take your index finger, put it on the top or the side, just like this. Just looks like this. Now you're gonna set the deck on the table, but keeping your fingers on the side. And you're just gonna use your finger to push those cards out as you move your hand, obviously. So it just depends on the index finger. If you let up more, obviously it's gonna be in bigger chunks like that, or it's not gonna be as big of a spread, but you could also push it even more and have like a lot more cards and make it a much bigger spread. Completely up to you. Obviously practice it, but that's it for spreading the deck. All right, so now that we've gone over those basic things, I wanna get into the basics of sleight of hand. So you've learned the basics of just handling cards. Now I wanna teach you how to actually do some sleight of hand. So we're gonna learn the pinky and thumb break right now. So basically, the pinky break is simply holding a break in the deck with your pinky. From the front, it looks pretty invisible, especially if you have your other hand covering like this, but you can use your thumb to hold it like this. But there's actually a break in the back, just held there by your pinky. That's what it looks like. So how you're gonna get that is, again, you're just gonna hold it in mechanics grip and just put your pinky in the deck. So you're not gonna have obviously your whole pinky in there. That's gonna look awful from the front, and everyone's gonna see what you're doing. But if you just get a little bit of your pinky in there, it will look pretty clean from the front. So how you're gonna actually get into a pinky break, and what you're gonna use that for is for just keeping a card. So basically, once a spectator puts their card in the middle of the deck, you can hold on to it and then control it to the top. So basically, what you're gonna do is, let's say this is the spectator's card. This is just one way to do this. So you're gonna actually just go ahead and put it in the middle of the deck like this. So you can see it is in the middle. And then what you're gonna do is push it in, and as you push it in, use your thumb to push it down like this, and then push it there. And then you're gonna get a thumb break. Now, a thumb break is when you're just holding a break, except it's with your thumb on the other hand. Not this thumb that's holding the deck, but the thumb on your other hand. This is what a thumb break looks like. It's obviously less discreet because it's the entire packet from both sides. So from the very front, you're not gonna see it, but from the angles you will, which is why you hold your hand here, because then they won't see anything. Now, pretty much the only use, obviously it's not the only use, but in most cases, the only reason you need a thumb break is to transfer it to a pinky break. So again, like I taught you in this little card move, which I think is a good way to begin when you're beginning a trick, is simply just push it in, push your thumb down, get that thumb break, and then what you do from here, once you have that thumb break, just put your pinky right in there, and then you have a pinky break right there. That's one of the easiest ways to get a pinky break with a card that's selected or whatever. Now, another way you can do that is to spread the cards. They pick this card. For instance, Ace of Hearts, you go ahead, put the deck, square everything up, and you have a pinky break. Now, how to do this one is you spread the cards, they pick a card, and then you square everything up in one hand, but in the other hand you do not. So this card, Three of Hearts, they put it back here, and then you're just gonna keep your pinky here, and you're just gonna slide everything over, square everything up, and just keep your pinky there. Just keep your pinky above the card. It's very simple. Just keep your pinky above that card the whole time that you put everything back like this. Just from the front, if I don't push it down or anything, it'll look like that. If I use my thumb to push it down, it is less discreet, or it is more discreet. So that's the basics of the pinky break. Obviously, you're gonna pretty much need to use that in almost every trick that you do. Obviously not everyone. If you learn different card controls or things, you won't actually need to use a pinky break. But when you're just starting out, the pinky break is the most simple way to do things, and it's an essential sleight that you'll need to learn sooner or later. All right, now that you've learned some basic card handling moves, you've learned the pinky and thumb break, I'm gonna teach you how to actually use the pinky break or the thumb break or both to actually control a card to the top of the deck from the middle. So basically, what you're gonna wanna do is, so card control is just controlling a card from wherever it is, usually in the middle, to wherever you want it in the deck. So there are hundreds, if not thousands of these. So I'm just gonna teach you a few very, very basic ones. You're not gonna wanna stick with these forever, but when you're getting started, these are easy to learn and they're good ones if you're just starting out. So I'm gonna teach you 2 or 3 of these just to get you started. And I'll give you a few names of other ones that once you master these, you're gonna wanna learn those. So I'll give you a few names of those after I teach you these. So stick around for those. So basically, we're gonna start off with, I don't know if there's a name for this, I just call it the triple cut control. But basically what it is you get that card, the card that they selected, the 7 of diamonds, whatever it is, you get that pinky break like this, okay? Then what you do is you do 3 cuts and the card is on the top. So basically how that works is you get that pinky break under that card, right? Now what you're gonna do is cut the cards, cut around half the deck above that packet that's above the pinky break, set it down. Now take everything above the pinky break like this, set it on top, and then take everything else, set it on top of that. So it's gonna look like you're mixing up the cards, and that's what you're gonna say. You know, I'll just give it a few cuts just to mix up the cards, but in reality, you're actually controlling the card to the top. If you need, if you don't understand that, just rewatch what I just told you. That's pretty much it for the thing. There's not really any subtleties or anything. Pretty straightforward, just 3 cuts like this, and the card will be on top. So that's it for that control. And again, you can get to that from a thumb break and then transfer to a pinky break and do that, whatever you want to do. That's just one, probably the most basic card control. Now the second one I'm going to teach you is called the double undercut. I personally I never really use this, but to some of you, you might like this and want to use it. So I'm going to teach it to you because it's one of the most basic and beginner card controls. It's just an essential one that everyone should learn. So basically, again, you get your pinky break, but actually in this case, you just want a thumb break. So you have a thumb break here. You don't want to transfer it to a pinky break. If you have a pinky break before the thumb break, you can have a pinky break, transfer to a thumb break. Pretty simple. That's all you're going to want to do. Now, all you're doing for this is what it's going to look like. So you're going to cut twice, give the cards 2 cuts, and the card is on top. So all you're doing here, again, get your thumb break, and all you're going to do here is cut half the cards from the bottom to the top, and then cut everything else from that break and cut it to the top as well. So it looks like you're just mixing up the cards, giving it some cuts, but you're controlling that card exactly where you want it to be. Now, the thing about the double undercut as opposed to the 3-cut control is the 3-cut control can only control it to the top of the deck, whereas the double undercut can control the card to the bottom of the deck. So let's say they pick a card, okay? You have it here. What you're gonna wanna do is actually push off this card, So you get a pinky break under this top card here, okay? Now you're gonna spread everything else, put everything else right here. And then now you have a pinky break, but it's under that card. So that card is actually on top of the break instead of this card, it's actually here. So now you're gonna get it to a thumb break, okay? And you're gonna do that double undercut. And once you do that double undercut, then their card will actually be on the bottom instead of the top. So it's pretty simple, just make sure it's in the right position for where you want it to be. But that is the advantage of the double undercut as opposed to the triple cut control. However, I think the triple cut control looks more clean, because sometimes people might think that you're actually just cutting the deck and you didn't actually do something. It looks like you cut the same exact packets twice, so then it's a false shuffle, which is pretty accurate, but it's not quite the truth, and that's not what you're going for. People might think that's what you're trying to do. So just be aware of that. That is one thing. That's the reason I don't love this card control, and I just never really used it. But like I said, make it your own, do what you want to do. If you like it, you like doing it, go for it. Do whatever you want. So that's 2 of the card controls, and I'll teach you one more card control. So this is called the cull. Okay, so basically what you're gonna do is spectator selects a card, in this case the 7 of diamonds. Okay, you hold it here, you show it, you spread the deck, and the card is on the bottom of the deck. This is what a cull is. This is a more advanced technique, so it's gonna require a lot more practice than just the double undercut or the triple cut control. So you show the card, you put it there, you're gonna need the card spread here, and now you're gonna push that card off a little bit. So it's a little pushed off, and all you're gonna do here is simply cover the card completely with this packet so that it's completely covered by this card on the bottom of the spread. Completely cover it, and what you're gonna do is put your thumb on that card. So again, you cover it with this and then put your thumb on that card that just covered the card and hold it down. It should be a little bit overlapping with the deck so that you can push it down, and your thumb's gonna be pushing it onto the deck. Now all you're gonna do here is take these fingers and actually pull this card, which is their card, pull it under the deck. And then you're gonna spread everything else under so that it ends up on the bottom of the deck. This is all that a cull is, but again, this is a lot more advanced, so it's gonna take a lot more practice. So just keep that in mind. Again, push the card off, cover everything, put your thumb here. It's very important that you push your thumb on, because otherwise when you try to push or when you try to pull that card, everything pulls. And then you're left with this, and it's just bad. So make sure you keep your thumb. So again, 3 of hearts, cover it, put your thumb there, pull the card out, and then push everything underneath. And again, make sure you practice this a lot, okay? Practicing in a mirror is going to be extremely helpful for learning new sleights and tricks and things like that. Keep that in mind, that's super important. Practice in mirrors, it'll save you so much time. And then you can see if what you're doing looks good or if it looks like absolute garbage. And then you know what looks bad and you know what to improve from there. So again, there's 3 card controls, and I'll drop a few names for some other ones right now. So a few other card controls that you're gonna wanna look up once you've mastered the ones I just taught you is going to be the, okay, so we have the Herman Pass. That's a good one that you might wanna learn. The Marlowe Tilt, okay? And what I like to call the switch and cull control. Alex Pandrea has a tutorial on this card control. It's pretty much identical to the one I teach on my own channel. It's just a slight difference, but I have a video on that on my channel. I'll leave that in the description, obviously. And but again, look that up, switch and cull control or whatever. It's basically, I'll show you what it looks like right here. So this is, in my opinion, my absolute favorite card control because it looks so clean. But basically you show the card. So this is the card, the Queen of Hearts, and then you leave it out jogged, square everything up, go ahead, push the card in, and the card is on the bottom. Obviously, I'm not going to reveal this right now, but go look it up. It's on another video on my channel. Now those are the three main ones. There's a lot more that you could look up. Those are just a few of the main ones that I would recommend for you guys to go ahead and learn. But that's it for the card controls. Now I'm going to get into the double lift, and that'll be the last part of this video. All right, the double lift, the absolute most essential sleight of hand move, pretty much used in, I don't even know, 60% of magic tricks, if not more than that. You're going to use this more than any other sleight, in my opinion. Obviously, other than a card control, but this is something you're going to use all the time. So make sure you get super good at this before you perform. Make sure it looks super clean. Now, what is a double lift? A double lift is simply turning over two cards, but it looks like you're only turning over one card. This is super deceptive, and again, one of the most basic and most used sleights in card magic. So it's very important that you learn how to do this. Now there's a few ways that you can actually get a break under two cards, so you can actually get into the move. Now first of all, you can push off two cards and get a pinky break under them, just like this. So just push off two cards, get a pinky break, but they might see that, might be a little suspicious. Unfortunately, this is what I've used pretty much until recently. So again, they might see you pushing off two cards and then you do that. It might look a little suspicious, so be careful. The other way is to actually use your thumb on this hand in triple threat grip and actually just riffle up the back and riffle until you get two cards here, and then just keep a pinky break under those. So again, just riffle up the back, get a break. You could just do that and just leave it, or you can do that and then riffle up the front, just so it looks like you're just riffling and not look like you're getting a break under two cards, obviously. Now there's a pinky count, which is actually using your pinky to count off two cards like this, get a break under it. That's much more advanced, but if you want to learn it, you can look up videos on how to do that. It's called a pinky count. But I'm going to teach you just the basic ways. So again, pushing off two cards or riffling up the back with your thumb. Obviously, these are going to take a bit of practice if you're a complete beginner, but it's definitely worth it to get this move down. I've also seen people simply bevel the deck, which means just pushing it off to the side a bit so it's not completely straight. And then they simply riffle up with their finger until they get two cards and flip it over like so. I never did that. I'm not a fan of that, but if you want to do that, go for it. So anyways, get a break under two cards, however you want to do that. And simply, once you get that, you're ready to actually do the double lift itself. Now, what the double lift is, again, is just flipping over two cards as one. So there's many ways to do that. So here are a couple basic ways. So you can do the shin lim double lift, which is the one he uses. If you don't know who that is, obviously go look him up. He's a legend. But the shin lim double lift looks like this. You grab the card like this, flip them over, and do this. This is a pretty beginner double lift, to be honest with you. It doesn't look super clean because no one would turn over one card like that. No one would do that. No, people usually just flip them over like this or like this, whatever. So I like to emulate a normal card turnover with my double lift, or vice versa. Emulate your single card turnover as if it's a double lift, but it's just one card. Because then when you do a double lift, it doesn't look different than your normal turnover. So there's a few ways to do this. The way I do this is I actually just hold my hand like this, almost in a fist, but not quite. And I just grip this bottom corner like this with my thumb, and I drag it along the side of the deck and flip it over. Okay, now you can get that break again with your fingers, riffle up or whatever. Obviously don't push these off because then everyone's gonna see it. And then do this, and then grab it again and slide it over and do this. Now, I'm not gonna give you a super in-depth tutorial on this because it's a very complicated move. There's plenty of tutorials on double lifts, so go ahead and look those up. Obviously, there's tons of variations you can do. You know, you can do this one, which is the one I just taught you. You can do this one, the shin limb, which is what I would probably recommend if you're a complete beginner. You can also do something like this, which is similar to shin limbs, but a bit different because you actually turn it over with your index finger. You can do this, hold it in the middle instead of on the bottom, and turn it over like this. You could do, what else could you do? You could do this, which is very advanced. Flip it over. You could do one of these. Okay, turn it over again. There's just lots of ways to do this. You can even do like this kind of turnover, super complicated, or the David Blaine one. Okay, again, I'm just showing you there's lots of ways to do the double lift. So go ahead, look up double lift videos. I would recommend Alex Pandrea's double lift video. That's probably the best one I've seen on the sleight, the double lift. So I'm gonna leave that link in the description if you wanna check that out. Again, the double lift, super common. Again, there's tons of sleights that you can learn, but I would recommend mastering these basic things before anything else. And then you can look into learning things like forces, which is forcing a playing card on a spectator. Things like false shuffles, those are gonna be more advanced, but something that's super good to learn. Obviously, false cuts, things like that are a lot easier than false shuffles completely. You can learn things like second deals, bottom deals. Those are gonna be more advanced again, but like I said, I would recommend super mastering the ones I taught you in this video before learning anything like those. Again, there's tons of things to learn, but these sleights that I've given you and the basics are just gonna get you started, and then you can maybe learn a few tricks, and then obviously once you watch a few card trick videos, you're gonna be like, oh, okay, I need to learn this sleight to do this trick. Okay, I'm gonna learn this sleight then. And that's kind of how you're gonna learn more and more sleights and learn what they are, the names of them, things like that. Because people will explain, oh, this is this move, this is this move, this is how you do this. You need this to get this kind of effect. Oh, things like that. Things like color changes too are another thing you can look up. Again, there's tons of things in the magic world. There's thousands and thousands of concepts and ideas and sleights and things like that. So like I said, just watch card trick videos. Once you've mastered these sleights, you'll learn some more, whatever. So I'm not gonna talk anymore about all this stuff, but I've given you what I've given you. This will help you significantly. I wish I had something like this when I was just starting out. But anyways, that's it for the video. I wish you guys luck on your magic journey. And anyways, I'll see you guys next time.